Welcome back guys to another episode of Next Gen VR. In this video I'm excited to review the Pimax 5K Super. Thank you to Pimax for sending me this headset for review, and I'm really looking forward to detailing all the features it has, how it compares to the 8KX, and more. The Pimax 5K Super is a VR headset with 2560 by 1440p resolution and up to 200 degrees FOV, but that's not all. Unlike other VR headsets, this headset breaks the record by running at up to 180 Hz. So let's start with build quality. The build quality is pretty sturdy like the 8KX. It has a plastic housing on the outside which can withstand falls and other damage, and it feels overall pretty premium and high quality, and this headset came with the KDMAS headphones which look aesthetically pleasing. Now on to comfort. Putting the headset on for the first time felt really comfortable. The front thin face foam provides well-rounded support over your forehead, and overall it feels very comfortable. There's no pushing or strain on the neck, and overall it's just really easy to put on and enjoy. Now this headset came with a KDMAS, which is the first time I've ever tried these headphones, and I must say they are a vast improvement over the standard modular audio straps. So these headphones are competitive with the Valve Index headphones. The bass is great, the volume is great. These headphones just bring a huge improvement. And what's cool is that these headphones, they only touch your ears, but they don't press against them. So this adds to the comfort, unlike other headphones that might just sit on your ears completely. So I would definitely recommend spending the $50 for the add-on for the KDMAS, as the standard audio is way too quiet, and it's just worth it to get so much better audio for a bit more money. So now let's talk about the resolution and the picture quality. As a headset with 2560 by 1440p resolution, I would say that the picture quality is equal to or better than the Valve Index and close to the Quest 2. There is a screen door effect that is a black grid, but it is not too bad in comparison to older generation VR headsets. So overall, the picture quality is pretty decent for what you get. Now let's talk about the field of view. The options for this headset are large, which is the 200 degrees FOV diagonally, normal, small, and potato. Now in 90 Hz mode, you get all of these options, including large. In 120, 144, and 160 Hz mode, you only get to choose up to normal FOV level. And in 180 Hz mode, you can choose only small FOV mode. So in terms of field of view, on large FOV mode, I have this wide field of view, which is comfortable and nice and doesn't feel constricted. In normal FOV mode, it is still pretty wide, so you might not notice too much of a switch between large and normal mode. And then in small FOV mode, it does feel noticeably smaller and narrower. So in small FOV mode, it is closer to the Valve Index in width, but probably slightly larger. But it does feel like the vertical FOV is wider on this headset than previous headsets I've used. So small FOV, a little bit constricting horizontally, but overall still pretty decent. And it allows for up to 180 Hz refresh rate. So now let's talk about distortion. So when I first put this headset on with the thin foam, I noticed almost zero distortion. It is significant improvement. I would say there is very slight distortion on the very edge, but it's very small amount of space it's taking up. So I think Pimax really improved their distortion profile for the 5K Super. So now let's talk about what I think about the really high refresh rate options on this VR headset. So as somebody who's previously owned a Valve Index, which runs at 144 Hz, I can very much tell the difference between 90 Hz and 120 or 144 Hz. And while playing Beat Saber in this headset, at 90 Hz, I noticed it was okay, but once you up it to 120, 144 Hz, it becomes way smoother, like buttery smooth, slicing cubes. It feels like it's even easier to perform the actions. But then when I tried 180 Hz, that was the smoothest I've ever experience any VR games. So I did notice a slight improvement between 144 and 180 Hertz, and it made some really fast levels in Beat Saber much easier to keep up with. And it just overall felt much smoother in games like Pavlov. When I run, it felt like I was running faster. When turning with smooth turn, it felt like there was no blurriness happening. When turning my head, no blurry issues. So overall, a high refresh rate made Pavlov really enjoyable for me, and Beat Saber as well. So that's something to keep in mind for fast-paced games. 180 Hertz really helps, even though you have that small FOV. But you can always switch to 90 Hertz if you want to get that really large FOV for other games that are slower paced. So now I'd like to show you guys a demonstration of me playing various Beat Saber games with 90 Hertz versus 180 Hertz mode. Now in this test, I did 2 or 3 tries for each song and picked my best attempt in both 90 and 180 Hertz modes. So I hope these videos will help you in determining how the refresh rate can improve gameplay, and also the performance of 90 versus 180 Hertz mode. Now I kept both modes in small FOV to ensure that field of view plays no factor in how well I do in either refresh rate.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go! Here we go! Here we go.
Now let's talk about glasses. For me, I had no issues fitting my glasses in this headset, which look like this. These are computer glasses that are pretty thin, so if you have glasses like these, you should have no issues fitting them into the headset. And so the glasses were pretty close to the lenses, but they did not scratch it or anything. So yes, for being able to use glasses with a thin face foam. Now, I don't know if they usually provide the thick foam. I know that if you buy the 8KX, you have the option of both thick and thin foam. So I think Pimax should provide a thick foam option for other headsets too, as some people might have bigger glasses or prefer further distance of their eyes to the lenses. But overall, I had no issues fitting my glasses in this headset. Now let's talk about IPD adjustment. This headset has an IPD slider in the bottom right of the headset that you can turn, and it accurately shows the value on the headset when you turn it. And I found that I have an IPD of 63. I found around 61 IPD. I get the clearest picture and absolutely no eye strain issues whatsoever. It felt very comfortable to play in long play sessions. The eye strain was basically minimal, and the hardware IPD works really well. Now let's talk about the microphone. The microphone quality is pretty decent. It's very clear and easy to speak and hear. However, it's a bit on the quiet side, which is why you'll need to boost the microphone on Windows. Now, there's some options to do this within the settings, but you can also use software like Equalizer APO. So there are many tutorials, but you can also try Equalizer APO to make it louder. This is a test of the Pimax 5K Super microphone. I'm wearing this VR headset. Now let's talk about my specs and what would be required to run this headset. So I have one of the best PCs. I have an i9-9900K with an RTX 3090 GPU, but for a headset like this, that's overkill. So because it runs 2560 by 1440p resolution, you should have no issue running it on a 3070, 3080, or even lower than that graphics card. It's not as demanding of a headset as the 8KX with its 4K panels. So in terms of performance, I had no issues running this headset. It performed pretty well at 90 Hz, even on large FOV mode in games like Beat Saber, Pavlov, and others. In 180 Hz mode, because it switches to small FOV mode, it makes up for any performance loss that would be incurred from 180 Hz. And so when I played Pavlov with this mode, most maps ran smoothly at 180 on my PC without any issues. Some maps had to drop around 160 Hz, and I felt slight stutters occasionally, but overall the performance is pretty impressive, and I was running this at 1.0 render quality with 100% super sampling. Now, in terms of tracking, this headset uses base station tracking like other PC VR headsets, so tracking is perfect, no issues whatsoever. Now let's talk about the software. So if you've seen my previous reviews about the 8KX, the software is pretty much the same. So once you install PyTool, which is needed to run the headset, you have everything you need here. The room setup is pretty simple and straightforward. Device pair allows you to pair your index controllers or other ones very easily. And there's also a setup guide. And under settings, you can update firmware and headset version, other features like that. In HMD mode here, you can see all your refresh rate options. So right now I have it set to 180 Hz, but you have also 160, 144, 120, and 90. Backlight adjustment, pretty nice feature to have when you don't want this panel to be too bright or too dark. IPD offset screen vertical. Under Games tab, you can see that you only have the option of small FOV mode when you're running at 180 Hz. Render quality is set to 1. You can change this if you want to increase resolution. Fixed foveated rendering is an option to improve performance. So close means it's turned off. Conservative is the lowest, aggressive is the highest. Parallel projection mode you might need for certain games, but for most games you don't. Smart smoothing is a technology to help improve performance by cutting the frame rate in half. And this option you should leave unchecked unless you're playing a Vive-only game. Contrast and brightness options are also nice, so I recommend +1 contrast, -2 brightness, but you can experiment with this to get the best picture quality. In the My Games tab, you have all the games from Steam and Oculus. You can search for them, you can sort by them. It's a pretty nice feature to have, but when you're using PyTool, I also recommend installing Pimax Experience because you have much nicer features there as well. So this is what the Pimax VR Experience software looks like in the headset. You have your Steam VR options where you have all your games, and here you can check to enable a cloud profile, which are settings that have already been optimized. So that's one option. The other option is to load local game profiles. So under settings, you can change the FOV, the render quality, other features like that, and then save them so that you have individualized settings for each game, which is pretty convenient. And then here you can change the super sampling on Steam, and these values are recommended at minimum for these games. Now you can also choose to favorite a game, and then it'll show up in your favorites tab. You have your Oculus, Revive, Vive games, any games you've imported. Under settings, you can set common settings that you can later apply in general. In advanced mode, if we go to the cog here and choose advanced HMD settings here, you'll be able to adjust the refresh rate, the panel backlight, and other features like that. And then in advanced image adjustment, you can adjust different color channels and so on. So overall, this software is very convenient. It's inside your headset, and you also have option to see your desktop and game manager and stuff like that. So I highly recommend this software. So now I'd like to share my overall thoughts on the headset and what I think of it. So I personally have really enjoyed this headset. I was very much impressed by the 180 Hertz mode, even in small FOV. And it just made it so much more fun to play Beat Saber and games like Pavlov. And it's nice that you have the option to have normal FOV mode with up to 160 Hertz refresh rate, because in normal FOV, your vision still feels pretty big without being constricted, but you have that much higher refresh rate, which I've missed since selling my Valve Index. So if you're someone that really likes refresh rate, you play fast-paced games, I definitely recommend the 5K Super. And while the resolution is lower, from a distance you can tell it's slightly lower. You can see the screen door effect. If that doesn't bother you, then you shouldn't have any issues with this headset. And as somebody who has experienced the 4K resolution of the Pimax 8KX, I didn't know what I would expect, but overall, I'm very much impressed with this headset. Distortion is minimal, comfort is superb. The audio is significant improvement over the standard audio. And so overall, this headset is something that I really like, and I think it might use it more often for fast-paced games. So now let's talk about the price. So Pimax has a special offer. Normally the headset is priced at $750, but you can get the headset for only $549. And here's how you can do this. So they have a VR 2.0 program. You have until May 31st to fill out the form. You'll get an email notification and then a purchase link. What you need to do is specify what headset you've owned in the past and provide proof of purchase for that VR headset. So this is for people who have already owned a headset in the past and would like to upgrade to a newer headset. So just fill out this form, you'll get the discount. Now, in order to get an additional discount, you can use the coupon code NEXTGENVR, and by doing so, you help support this channel and save $20 on any purchase in the Pimax store. So whether that's a 5K Super or an 8KX or anything else, you can save $20 by using the coupon code NEXTGENVR. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please press the like button. That helps spread it to many more audiences through YouTube's algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a single video about the latest and greatest VR headsets and accessories and tips and tricks on how to improve your VR experience. See you next time.